New world. Do I like, or do you like loading into a new world in Minecraft and seeing where you've landed? Like it's just wonderful where, like, loading into a new world, isn't it?
First visit to the to win consecutive major tournament games in their opening two fixtures for the first time since the 1982 World Cup.
Oh, I need my phone. Forgot to pick that thing, chat. Fan class.
Country that taught the world a certain way to play total football back in the 70s. If you are of a certain age, you will never be able to forget that. There's the referee from Israel, RO16,
Alaba.
Poland, back in November.
Lit and young.
Intriguing to see where Alaba plays. They spread a surprise by putting him in a sweeper against Northern. We think he'll start again there. That graphic doesn't wait and see.
Are you going to join then, JJ?
Savitzer, their Leipzig-based key creators and target for Premier League clubs. The one change comes up front then. Gregoric came off the bench to score at the weekend, replacing Sasa and Kalajdzic, and then he planned to bring in Marko Arnautovic. Crushed when he received a one-match ban for insulting a Macedonian player following that bizarre-looking goal celebration. Alaba on the left, Alaba, a sweeper. Jermaine Genius, where would you play?
I'd put him on the left-hand side of the three at the back, purely and simply because of his ability on the ball to drive into those midfield areas and create and get balls into the box. I think they'll need, they've always needed his quality in that Austrian side, but I think if he keeps himself central, you're just a little bit restricted in there to play much more of a sweeper role.
I can tell you that UEFA officials are monitoring the BBC's coverage tonight because they've just put a quote up on their website from Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, something he was saying earlier on in the programme. So, wherever you are, remember, balls are ears. We're nearly ready to go here. If they win this game, they win the group. Pressure is off them. They can bring in fringe players for the last game. Austria, if they win tonight, they are through, but they won't clinch the group by winning tonight. First touch will be for Michael Gregoric, facing Germany, as do so many of the Austrian players. Off we go then. Austria in their dark kit, kicking from right to left in this first half. And Alaba starts at the back. Kinteregger, another German-based player with Eintracht. Great roars go up from the 16,000 expected here tonight as the Dutch pick it up. It's a free kick to Austria. Dragovic went off in that first game at half-time again. It was a little bit of a precaution.
Hello? JJ?
Sabitzer so creative into Sabitzer.
Hello?
A lot of the unpleasant work in mid for Austria. Here he is. And out wide to Andreas Ulmer. It's a decent burst through. Fries has to defend there.
Okay, I wasn't going to ask you.
Of course, gets it back to Ginny Wijnaldum.
Well, the game started exactly as I'd hoped, really. No signs of either side dropping off.
Van Holt. Lint has gone on the outside. Beckhorst made the run in there, the ball just a little bit too long, and Daniel Backman, the Watford goalkeeper, came and gathered.
Yeah, it was really good play from Frankie de Jong originally in midfield. Just driving through the heart of it. To just see this challenge here. Yeah, there's no foul from Dumfries there on Ulmer. Cheeky nutmeg. But the play from de Jong was really good in that midfield. You know, they'll want more of that from him and Wijnaldum.
Some lovely little side stories to this game, like Ulmer, who was out of the national side for 3 years. Now in a European Championship finals at the age of 35, just won his 12th league title with Salzburg. Sabitzer. We've seen a lot of him playing Champions League football this season, Jermaine. Marcel Sabitzer, with distinction at Leipzig. He's had a very good campaign again.
Yeah, you can understand why there's a lot of Premier League interest in Sabitzer. He does brilliantly for Leipzig. I think that in and around the box is where he is most dangerous. You know, I think around that 20-yard mark, he's not afraid to shoot. He gets his fair share of goals. I'm sure you'll see him floating around that 18-yard box at some point today, and he's lethal from there. You've got to block all his shots.
Here's Konrad Laimer, too far ahead of Ulmer. Lap 35, I don't think we'll fancy getting up and back of the ball as inaccurate as that. Probably have a word. Frank de Boer, well, what can you say about his managerial stays, really? He was a disaster at Crystal Palace, no success whatsoever at Inter, but won the league 4 times as Ajax manager here. Schneider was too slow. It's Beckhorst trying to find Dumfries, and that's a good challenge by Alaba. Breaks here to Ginny Wijnaldum. Scored in the opening game. In fact, he's only 1 goal behind Marco van Basten in the Dutch all-time scoring list. Scored the best goal I've ever seen in European Championship finals football. I was lucky enough to be in the Munich Stadium in 1988.
And in fairness to Marco van Basten, he'd retire very early.
Yeah. That's a cruel story, wasn't it? That?
Yeah.
Wonderful player.
Seriously cruel. He's been right at the top of that list.
Chance here perhaps to get a cross in. Ooh, is that a challenge on the edge of the penalty area? That was reckless or foul play by Hinteregger. It was a good burst up by Stefan de Vrij. The referee unmoved.
Yeah, what I would say from de Vrij's kind of response to the challenge, I would assume he's not really been touched here. Yeah. And as a defender, he knows that it was the wrong thing to be doing to go down like that, which is why he gets up very quick, and then the second challenge comes in. That looks like a penalty to me. I feel like there is some contact from Alaba. Whether they're going to have a look at it or not.
They are.
Well, it looks like a penalty to me.
So the VAR, Pavel Gil. I would be surprised if this isn't given as a penalty.
Well, he comes flying out, Alaba, and there's definite contact. He's going to have a look at it, Alaba.
Yeah. It's been good here, hasn't it, VAR? Use of VAR.
It's been brilliant. It really has. I think the stand-up refereeing is brilliant. I mean, you can see there quite clearly. Dumfries, little touch away from Alaba, stamp on his foot. That's a penalty.
He's going to give it. I think maybe the only question was whether it was inside or outside. It was inside the corner of the box.
Yeah, it was clearly.
Another great run forward by this powerhouse right wing back.
Yeah, he plays so high. You know, he's so quick on the ground. It's reckless in the end from Alaba. He's just got to get there and stand up and assess the situation. He goes flying in. He's trying to have a little influence here on the penalty.
It'll be Memphis Depay who takes it. Scored 5 penalties for Lyon this season. Involved in 14 goals for the Dutch in qualifying. Scored 6, created 8. Good scoring record at international level. He's got 5 in his last 4. Early advantage here to send the Netherlands a giant step towards the round of 16. Memphis Depay against Daniel Backman. And scores. The Netherlands ahead. Deserved a goal in the opening game, didn't get one. Scores tonight.
Yeah, we all know. Alaba there in the picture. That was his mistake for the penalty. He'll be trying to rally the troops and keep them positive, but this was always hitting the back of the net. Short run up, whips it into that bottom corner. Confident penalty. I mean, the game was already kind of fast and furious and frantic. It's only going to get better from here now.
Doesn't matter how old you are, when your team scores, spontaneous joy. Alaba cautioned as well to make matters worse for him, but Depay, very much a showman. He would have missed the finals had they been played last summer. Did his cruciates in December of 2019. Confirmation of that Alaba yellow card. Referee's allowed it to go on because they've got possession anyway at Austria. Stefan Leiner, steered away by Daley Blind. The Dutch have sent messages to Christian Eriksen, and Daley Blind is very much a positive message for him because he plays with a heart defibrillator machine fitted to his body. He suffered heart problems back in 2019. In fact, had a scare at the start of this season, but because he has that machine inside him, he was prepared again very quickly.
I'm sure it's one of those things that Christian Eriksen might have achieved as well at some point.
Netherlands again looking for Depay. It's a promising run forward by Frenkie de Jong. They will be teammates next season, it would seem. Memphis is Barcelona bound.
Looking good. The Netherlands started the game really well, kind of riding the energy that's in the Johan Cruyff Arena. Very good in the press, winning the ball high up the pitch.
Fine pass to the ball, de Jong just tracking back there with the sort of line boots on. No one passed the ball more successfully than him in the entire qualifying phase.
He's the kind of player that he dictates the tempo of a game. He can really slow it down by taking a lot of touches and speed it up with quick 1-2s.
Underwood. The decision has gone against the former Middlesbrough player.
Yeah, it's late. Emilio sliding in like that. We're open to a booking.
Painful one. Caught Grigorich. For a long time, at the start of this season, fairly long time, with a groin injury. But otherwise, he had a decent campaign for Atalanta, who punched above their weight again in Italian football, got into the Champions League once more.
This is where Austria needs to be careful. Look at the numbers that the Netherlands get forward. And when they win the ball this high up the the pitch with the press, then they outnumber them in the counter-attack.
Angle pass looking for Ulmer. Just wonder whether or not Austria have enough firepower, even though the Dutch aren't entirely confident about their defence. With a slip there by Van Aanholt. He certainly could have done with Arnautovic being around the place today. Whether or not he would have started is a different matter, but he's banned. He's Schlager. Now Sabitzer. Ulmer. Gregoritsch is in the middle and Baumgartner. Sabitzer. So Schlager for Wolfsburg had a look away to the right hand side, there was nothing on.
Just frustrated them in the end. Really good shape from that Dutch back four. Sorry, back three with the wing backs. Nicely tucked in, just frustrating the Austrian attack.
21 of Foda's squad playing in the Bundesliga. Just a couple playing back at home this season. He's been criticised for that, criticised for being too cautious. Trouble here again now. This is a powerful run by Weghorst. Gallagher got the block in.
Who was it that wrote that piece about Dumfries again?
Well, Soccer Magazine.
Oh, they know their stuff. He started this game brilliantly. They can't handle his runs. I mean, he's collecting knockdowns off the centre forward from a goal kick.
They always do a great preview magazine. It's a very long-standing football magazine, and I thoroughly recommend it. Here's Daily Blitz. Back at his spiritual home, we're all started for him. And a double for him this season at Ajax. Here's Van Aanholt. Weghorst in the middle. Stretching Watford keeper Backman makes it his.
It's brilliant play. Again, they'll just keep finding that extra man in midfield. And they shouldn't have one, but with the positions they're taking up, they seem to be free a lot of the time, that Netherlands midfield.
The Netherlands have won the last 21 games when scoring first. And they look like scoring again. Weghorst. Wijnaldum's there to his right hand side. Duron. Here's Blint. Depay. Saw the run of Wijnaldum there. Just in the role he plays for the Netherlands. Ronaldo much higher than he does for Liverpool. Where would he play for PSG, you wonder?
He's always been that kind of player that kind of ghosts into the box. He's a lot quicker than you think he is. And you know he's a very clever player and a good passer of the ball.
Great energy levels as well. This is his 66th game this season for Clement Country. That's a good crossing. Well, good idea anyway by Ulmer, but it was overstruck in the end.
Yeah, and a bit emotionally. It's been quite a tough season for him as well. You know, with the kind of the Liverpool thing coming towards an end, coming to an end, as we just see a big challenge in there from De Ligt. But he's finally got all that sorted. Looks like he's on his way. Well, he's obviously got himself to PSG. So I feel more settled in the tournament now.
Austria trailing again. Won their opening game, but it was a fairly unfamiliar story for them in major championship football. Here's Ulmer. This young man is very much in the mood tonight.
As cool as you like, isn't he?
On the start, he's our Frankie de Jong. Will be playing Premier League football next season, of course. Turega. Cuts it out, and here's De Ligt. Learning all the time as a Juventus defender. Learning the defensive arts from Chiellini and how to play out positively and build from the back from Bonucci. You mind learning from those two, would you?
It's like Harvard for centre-halves, isn't it?
Standing player. Part of that wonderful Ajax team that reached the Champions League semi-finals and the Europa League final. Beaten by English teams, both of them. Here's Duron. Frey. Another who was left out of international football for a long time, 2 years in the wilderness before coming back this autumn. Seven trophies as a player, the remarkable Alaba. Could have gone down the music route, Jermaine. His dad was a DJ in Vienna, that's where he comes from.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got the feeling he picked the right road.
Remind you, if you've just joined us, if the Netherlands win this, they win the group. If Austria win this, they will go through, but not as group winners. Could yet be pipped at table topping position with the last game. Depay. His penalty separates the two sides. Alaba.
We've done that really well so far. Just the passing through the lines, the shorter passing to the, always having a runner. When to press, when to drop off. This is where I think Austria are struggling. They don't know kind of their phase of play to get out of this situation, really. And that keeps happening.
The pressure is by Frenkie de Jong. By Van Aanholt's caught after the ball had gone. Depay's cross in the middle, away by Alaba. Back in by Duron. Well balanced the midfield for the Netherlands. The question they've asked domestically is, has this competition come too soon? Some of the youngsters they've got in there, but I think they look well equipped. It's 80th international, gives some experience back there. Dad was a fine player and coach, Danny. De Ligt into Frenkie de Jong. Here comes Blind, ambling up midway through the first half.
You see, what David Blind's doing here is what I think David Alaba should be doing for Austria. He's too restricted centrally, and he's too good for them to play him that way. Get him into that midfield. That midfield's getting massively overrun, that Austrian midfield. It needs help. It needs the likes of Alaba to come out and just get involved, give them some possession, get them up the pitch, because they're just enjoying themselves in there, this Netherlands side. They really are.
Weight on that.
Yeah, again, it all comes down to just a lack of a pattern, a lack of movement. Players are standing and watching the player on the ball rather than creating an angle, giving the person on the ball an option.
Memphis Depay. Arcing off the outside of his boot into the side netting.
Well, the camera's on Alaba. He's asking for some communication, but he can't allow that ball just to bounce and run by him like that. Not while you're in that position, it's too dangerous.
He He didn't play in all the qualifiers, David Alaba. He played in only 5 of them, but on all of those 5 occasions he played left-hand side of midfield. That's why I think they were so surprised for this major competition. They stuck it back here. They have used a 3 before, but not with him in this particular competition this time.
No, he's obviously worried defensively. I know this season for Bayern Munich he's played defensively in a back 2 as a centre-half at some point this year. But creatively, he's one of their best players. You should just see that strike from Depay, catches it well enough. Just needs to try and get it heading towards the far post. But surely you've got to try and find a structure, as he's asking for more communication there, that gets the best out of him.
Don't forget the group winners and runners-up all go through, and then the 4 best third-place teams. There is an argument that because of that, some of the football could be a little bit too negative at times. Some countries might go through, for example, with just 3 points. Austria already have 3 points. They have the 1 game to play against Ukraine in Bucharest on the 21st. Ukraine having won earlier today against North Macedonia by 2 goals to 1. They're right back in it now. De Jong loses out there to Sabitzer. He was powerful. So Sabitzer. Dragovic. Not to Stefan Leiner. I haven't seen him get forward at all. Pushed back by Van Aanholt. That's key, really. Ronaldo. 5 shots in that opening game, Ronaldo, in his midfield position. Maybe a little bit more reserved today, but here's Blind. There he goes, Ronaldo. Look. Memphis Depay. A wonderful season with Lyon scoring 22 goals. In the most competitive Ligue 1 campaign since 2003, 4 clubs in it right to the end. He dragged Lyon through that season, Memphis Depay.
Yeah, he did. You know, the great here, which is why they're now talking about him moving to Barcelona.
Rich was caught there. Interrega plays it through. It's out by Conrad Leimer. A decent run into the box. Oh, it hit De Ligt. A little bit of an appeal there, wasn't there, from Christoph Baumgartner?
Yeah, but there's nothing in it. De Ligt does really well. He just kind of lines himself up where he thinks his shot's going to go. Takes it right on his forehead. It's good defensive play. They're asking for a handball. I didn't see one in there myself.
There he is. Must be ruining the excess of his goal celebration the other day when he insulted an opponent. UEFA gave him a 1-match ban. They didn't see anything more sinister in it than just that. By Leimer, now Schlager, now Sabitzer, and that's a good ball forward. Super attempt at a challenge by De Ligt to deny Baumgartner.
Much better from Austria though. Finally got their own press in that midfield, winning the ball higher up. That defending from De Ligt just came out of nowhere, didn't he? Just spotted the danger.
It's Martin Hinteregger. Squad for a long time, 8 years. Alaba, 12 years. There we go, we have 2 live games for you tomorrow on BBC One. Just see this chance again, good challenge by De Ligt.
Great challenge.
Sweden-Slovakia, 1:45 p.m. And then the tea time game, 4:35, is Croatia against the Czech Republic in the England-Scotland group. High up towards Vekhorst, big man at 6'6". Right. Right, really in the starting lineup because Virgil van Dijk is, of course, sidelined. Otherwise, he'd be an understudy, I would think. Cracking campaign with Inter winning the title. Without understudy at all, here's a free kick now to the Netherlands. With the foul on Memphis. They want this pull back, the Netherlands. Referee saying go on. Half an hour play. Ronaldo to Stefan de Vrij. Potent goal scorers in this Dutch team on club form this season. Vekhorst got 25. So the Austrians can't match anything like that. Gartner got 9. Gregoritsch got just the 1, I think.
Yeah, their forward line doesn't have that bit. You know, it's a bit to this man in midfield. He can get some numbers from that area.
Look for Baumgartner, who was blocked off. Got to watch this, the Netherlands. Foul count is mounting up against them.
I don't know what they're arguing about. I think de Jong's saying something along the lines of that's exactly what happened to me before, but it wasn't as blatant as that one.
Had a few chances. Netherlands have had 3 attempts, 1 on target. Two have not had an effort on target yet. And Lima.
That was a waste.
Strong player. I thought he looked a little bit rusty in the opening game. He'd been out for a long time. Broke his ankle back in August. Came back just in the build-up for this competition. Played just 5 games for his club, Leipzig.
He's got some thinking to do at half-time. I don't think this back three is really working at all.
Just a little word there with Ruud van Nistelrooy. Jermaine and I were looking at the list of record Dutch goal scorers in the build-up before we came on air. There's some of the names there.
Scary. Unbelievable talent. You'd argue right now is probably as sparse as they've had in a long time in their history when it comes to top level strikers. It's the area of the pitch that lets them down, because you put Van Dijk in that, or you Riyad, a Kluivert, a Van Persie, a Van Nistelrooy. This is a team that will go, could easily win it. It's just that top end of the pitch that just a little bit light. But this man is the man that is up there to try and carry the can on that, score the goals and create the magic.
Finished the season well with Lyon 7 in his last 8 for them. And there he is again to pressurise Dragovic. Schlager foraging again for Austria and has played well. Here's Sabitzer. Immediately they have to move the ball quickly in tight spaces because the Netherlands so intense with their pressing game. There's a foul by Denzel Dumfries.
Yeah, it's definitely been a key component to the way Netherlands have played. They're having to work so hard, Austria, just to get at their yard, to get their head up and find anybody with any real quality. And even when they do, it's just a sea of orange everywhere.
Ulmer into Konrad Laimer. Dragovic, who had that spell at Leicester, not a great spell, it has to be said. Sabitzer. Gregoric back to him. No great movement though, look. No, final third.
They've got nothing, they've got no one running in behind, they've got very little options for the man on the ball.
And that's what they have to do, resort to that sort of effort. Not too far off target by Hinteregger, but far enough to cause Stecklenburg no worries whatsoever.
I mean, he actually catches this really well. Just never staying down. Stecklenburg watching it all the way, but it's a sign of frustration, really. Hinteregger, the centre-half's coming out to have strikes from what, best part of 25-30 yards out on the angle.
They could have done with him. But he was hot-headed in the moment, and it's cost him. It was a strange goal celebration, wasn't it? It was some spite about it all. Dragovic. Just 16 times in that season, 17-18 on loan at Leicester. He's going off to Red Star Belgrade for next season, leaving Leverkusen. 10 to go. Checked by Schlager.
He's actually done alright in there for Austria, Schlager.
Really hard, become a regular starter this season for them. Hinteregger's pushed on in these last 5 or 6 minutes.
But this, again, I know I keep mentioning it, but this is where you want Alaba. Really, I mean, he's vastly advanced up the pitch. It's what they should be doing when you're playing in a back three.
So if they did that, Jermaine, could they then, Sabitzer would have to move in off the left. He'd be perhaps behind one front man. They could take off either Gregoric or Baumgartner. Would that not be a better position to have Sabitzer in?
Yeah, it'll get him a lot closer to your front players. And he's one of the most dangerous players they have. Yeah, but by the way, this is a part of the tournament I've absolutely loved. Referees are just not buying this kind of stuff. I mean, yes, there's minimal contact. Is it enough for a free kick? No. And the referees are seeing that a lot of the time.
Speed of VAR as well. VAR did come into play today, and having consulted the TV and spoke to the VAR from Poland, Noel Greenfeld gave the spot kick from which Depay put them ahead. Van Veghorst, Frenkie de Jong. Was it from Frenkie de Jong? I read that lovely quote about midfield players in the build-up to this. What midfield player would want to pass the ball backwards? Why? He's always looking front foot.
Frenkie de Jong said that, did he?
Yeah. Well, allegedly.
Yeah, well. You don't mind passing it backwards. I'm not saying he always does, but it's part of his rhythm. It's how he likes to control the game. He uses players like De Ligt or Daley Blind, but if he can hurt you with a forward pass, he always will.
In 51 games this season, he's passed the ball 2,500 times in Spain. It's a foul. He's acknowledged it as well, has Mikhail Gregoric. He knew what he was doing. Want to rattle the ribs of Daley Blind.
They're just signs of frustration. He's hardly had a kick. You know, Gregoric at the top end of the pitch there. He's hardly had a kick, so he's just trying to have an impact on the game. There's no crosses coming into the box. And the flip side to that, he's not making any runs for anybody. I just feel like the whole team's struggling with their formation.
certainly wouldn't back them on the form they've shown today and what we saw from Ukraine against Macedonia in that final game. Van Aanholt's, Weghorst, clear here, pushes it back for Memphis Depay, leaning off it, over it goes, a massive chance to put the Netherlands 2-0 up before the break.
But it's a big chance for both of them. I can hear all three of those strikers in the studio absolutely screaming at Weghorst here to just smashes it, sits up like a dream. Look at that on your right foot, let's hit it. I mean, he picks out a lovely pass to Memphis Depay, don't get me wrong, who has to stick it away. But a true striker, hits that on the volley. Back of the net, Weghorst with a big chance there.
He's got caught a little bit late there, Frenkie de Jong by Konrad Laimer.
It's a beautiful ball from Van Aanholt, by the way. So one thing they've had that's different, they're very similar formations, but every time there's a Netherlands player on the ball, they've got runners.
One of them is Van Aanholt, square to the captain Wijnaldum. His shot was blocked, but again they sliced inroads into Austria. Iran, now this man.
Yeah, both wing-backs had a big impact on this game. In the early stages it was Dumfries. Now Van Aanholt towards the end of the game, of this first half anyway, picks out his man, Wijnaldum. It's just a poor contact, really. It's the biggest surprise. He's kind of leading and reaching here. He's so used to getting into that position, and he's so used to being cool, or we're used to seeing him be so cool. But this is a dream. Look at that. I mean, that couldn't have set up any better. I know it's a lovely pass to pick out Depay, but there are certain passes that kind of sit up, just perfectly ready to be hit, and that was one.
Ronaldo got into that position for his goal in the opening game. Ball came in from the right-hand side from a Dumfries cross, I think it was. The keeper pushed it away, and he very calmly slotted it in.
They've been impressive though, haven't they? Yeah. The Netherlands, given nothing away at the back, had full control. They kind of turned it on when they want to turn it on.
This is their first meeting in a major tournament finals since the '78 World Cup, the second group phase. Netherlands won 5-1 on their way to that year's final. Rensenbrink got a goal that day, Johnny Rep. Meetings between the two countries normally do produce goals. 6 wins in a row for the Netherlands against them. Just the one goal in it here. Touching the ball for Stekelenburg. Warhorse goes on in that Dutch goal. Mistake by Blintz. And Aanholt came across and covered for him, and Guduric has gone down.
Yeah, they're winning everything though, look. Second balls, headers.
Offside flag catches Memphis Depay.
Here's a foul.
52% possession for the Netherlands. Austria yet to have a shot on target. Sabitzer was called as he turned.
You see that? That's De Vrij coming out from centre half to press a midfield player. We've not seen that from the Austrian side. They fully commit to the press and they go, yeah, he doesn't win the ball and it's a foul, but they make a decision as a team, we're going. Whereas Austria kind of half-heart it a little bit, they get caught out.
So he's been linked with a move to the Premier League, De Vrij. Reported interest from Liverpool and inevitable interest from Barcelona, who on one hand you hear they're completely brassic, got no money whatsoever, and then they're in the chase for players. Here's Wijnaldum and Depay. Opened his body to try and bend it, it was blocked. The chance is gone.
Yeah, well, what's just happened there has been, it's been waiting to happen all all half really. Austria trying to play out, getting caught on the press, and when they lose that ball, they're just outnumbered.
Haven't seen this man too much on the ball. Stefan Leiner to Konrad Reimer. Schlager's made that forward run. He's on with the left wing back. Try and find some movement on the edge of the penalty. It's the right wing back finally providing something for them.
Yeah, he's in the wrong position. You know, I get he's trying to make something happen, but one of the big things that they're lacking here is width. Everything's so central, and then he's trying to cross balls from the middle of the pitch. From a Netherlands point of view, it's been brilliant, but because they've not been clinical, you know, this game should be put to bed now, really, and they should be in cruise control in the second half. I'd be surprised if Austria come out and play like this again in the second half. And they don't have a look and go, listen, we're not happy, we need to change things here, let's revert back to our back four, we're much more comfortable in that position, get Alaba into a more advanced position. They might as well, so, because this clearly isn't working.
Into the minute of stoppage time. Finds penalty after 11 minutes, separating the sides. In the third European Championship finals, Austria, they've only had the one win, it was the other day. 2 wins in 16 games at major tournaments, 1 clean sheet in that time, and they haven't reached the knockout stages of any tournament. At 54. Someone's very deep back there, looking for Mikhail Gregorich. Been no sign of any sort of partnership between he and Baumgartner.
He wins the header, and you know, where's your partner? Running in behind. If you're going to play a front two, those are the things that you're looking for.
Overall thoughts of the first half, Jermaine?
I thought Netherlands were brilliant. I really did. I think they're going to be disappointed they didn't get the extra goals. He's had a tough 45 minutes, David Alaba. And I think it'll be a stern talking to his teammates and maybe a change of formation by the manager that can possibly get them back into this game. But it's been a good first half.
Austria certainly need to change something. Depay's penalty separates the sides. They lead here in Amsterdam by 1 goal to 0.
Yes, they do, and the Netherlands have won every one of their 21 matches when scoring first. And Depay with that goal, he scored 27 goals, 5 more than any other player since he made his Dutch debut. Certainly worthy of leading at half-time, though.
Oh yeah, they've been much the better team. They're really disappointed in Austria. I think they've been hopeless, and the Netherlands should be 2 or 3 up. I think they're in third gear. I think they can go to another gear. They've created chances, got 1, should have been 2 or 3 more. But Austria have to come out and do a lot better than that in that first half, holding the high line, which we'll look at in a minute, and they're getting punished all the time.
Happy with your team?
Yeah, they're not playing as well as they could, or as we expected, but they're in control. Austria has got more the ball than I expected that they would have, but still they're not creating nothing. I do like the counter press of the Dutch, and when they do that, they're dangerous and they get chances.
It's pretty one-sided, really, though, isn't it, Rio?
Yeah, it is. I agree with Jimmy. The possession stats would suggest more of an equal game, but there's been one team that's looked to create things, been on the front foot. It looks to me there's one team that's been very well coached, and there's one team just playing off the cuff. They look like they're lost in what they're doing, and that's the Austrians. So they have to improve massively, and the manager's got a lot to do at this half-time.
Yeah, tough, I suppose, for Austria in a way to get that, go against them so early, but VAR was right, though, wasn't it? It was a foul. He clearly stood on his foot inside the area.
Yeah, he did it. It worked very well. It was. You can clearly see there from the still that he catches him, and it's enough for the ref to go and have a look at the monitor, and he sees it. That's obviously a dive, but then Alaba is rash, and then he dives in and commits that challenge there. It's a poor touch, and it gets away from him, and it's a desperate lunge. Yeah, absolutely penalty.
And Dumfries attacking that and going for it and being on the front foot spoke volumes of the first half. That was the thing with this Holland team in the first half. Pressure, front foot, try and win the ball high, resulting in the penalty.
Correct.
I like how he takes the penalty. You know, after the whistle, he waits a little bit, takes his time, and puts it really well in the corner. No chance for the goalkeeper whatsoever.
Only 2 of 6 penalties scored at this tournament so far. Ronaldo obviously was the other one. Austria have played this high line, which for any striker who likes to get behind is
Well, Alaba, Hinteregger and Dragovic, I mean, this is in the first minute or two, which was a sign of things to come. And if you're cute and clever, which Holland can be, then they'll cause them all sorts of problems, and they have done. That's been a constant where that ball's been pinged out wide. They've won the head, but look how high they are. If it certainly from Wijnaldum or Depay, less so Verhorst will get in, or he did in a second, obviously. He should play him in there because he's timed his run to perfection. Just didn't choose to pass it at the right time. They go out to the other side, but again, same thing again. Look at all that space to run behind. If he's got more pace there, he gets away from it. But it's just been a
just
constant
along ball side these days, aren't you? The Dutch.
No, but I am actually very happy.
For football.
Exactly. I identify it when you need to play long, and I'm really happy actually that they do at times, because it's the easy way getting in, and you can't ignore it. If you want to play a high line against the Dutch, at this moment of time, you're going to get in trouble. You know, even though Weghorst is not the quickest, is he? But still he's getting in.
He gets in a minute, which we're going to see the best chance of the game.
I suppose the one thing that perhaps the Dutch will rue at half-time is that they've not got this game won.
Listen, they've had chances and great chances, not the half chance, clear-cut chances that them strikers will be very disappointed. This ball will come over here. This is your moment. This is what you've been dreaming of the night before a game, for a chance to come like that. He chooses to pass it. Not one of you three in here, goal scorers, will pass that ball there. That would have been in the back of the net, going back to the halfway line. And then Depay's got to sort his feet out to finish that as well.
She could have. That's that same high line again, where he's in there, and it's absolute.
Great pass from Patrick from Arnold twice. Great 1-2, and then finding the free man. You know, normally you would think that him, Wijnaldum, would score there.
Can I just say something here, Rio, as to why strikers should take it on themselves rather than pass at the particular phase? I don't know whether we can cut back and see that first chance again, but when it comes through and you've got a chance to shoot on goal, you've got the goalkeeper to beat. You either score or you miss. One thing can go wrong. If you pass the ball, the pass can go wrong, and also the other person's finish can go wrong. So therefore, there are two chances of things going awry.
But also, why is the striker on the pitch? To get these kind of chances.
Well, that's another point. I totally agree.
These kind of goals, and to hit the back of the net.
All you're doing is doubling your chances of missing, right, Alan? It's nothing to do with selfishness. It's just the odds. It's all about the odds. The Dutch pressing. It's been impressive.
At times, when they've done it, and they all go, they all commit, and there's obviously a definite desire, a definite tactical awareness from them to all press. It's like almost as a trigger, and they all go. You see the orange shirts marauding forward, getting in contact with people, and sometimes they go in even in their ones because they know they've got the security behind them. And then it's about, once they've won the ball, it's about execution, and it's about decision making and making the right pass. But the intentions of this team is not letting this team have easy possession and easy balls. They haven't done it for the whole half, but when they've actually said, yes, this is a trigger, we're going to go, they've done it so impressively.
Yeah, and I like it. And then when they win it, they pass forward, and then Austria are open and you get chances. When you press, it's majority of the time not the first one or the second one that you're going to win, but it is the third one when then they are open. And at times the Netherlands are doing that really well.
And that's where someone like Wijnaldum comes in. Because when they win that ball, he has the legs to then get beyond and get up with play it, and then obviously put the ball in the back of the net.
That old phrase, third man running.
Exactly.
Indeed.
We'll explain it one day.
We have two more live Euro 2020 games for you tomorrow. Sweden against Slovakia is on BBC One from 1:45. That's followed by Croatia against the Czech Republic, who are both in Group D with England and Scotland, of course. Cristiano Ronaldo, impossible to ignore, as he did show once again last night. That's streaming now on BBC iPlayer, as are the latest Match of the Day Top 10 podcasts, which you can either watch on iPlayer or listen to via BBC Sounds. fans, the pros, mates, debates, laughs, wit, pancakes. That Peter Crouch Euros podcast, the match of the day, top 10, 2 podcasts, 1 tournament. Listen only on BBC Sounds. Don't let that put you off, they're quite good. You'll hear from Calvin Phillips shortly ahead of England against Scotland at Wembley tomorrow, but first the latest from the Scotland camp with Ailey Barber. Scotland's next match in Group D, a trip south to face the old enemy England at Wembley.
Going for this England game, upbeat, looking forward to it, try to make the nation proud. It's an opportunity that doesn't come around often, so we've got to go into it with a real good mentality and try and make the country proud.
You look at this England team that you're going to come up against, whoever it is that plays in those forward areas, the likes of Sterling, Rashford, Grealish, Calvert-Lewin, Harry Kane, of course. How do you prepare yourself for that challenge?
Just go and perform to your best ability. I mean, the names you mentioned there, they're one of the favourites for the tournament, so there's nothing to be afraid of, there's nothing to be nervous about. It's an amazing opportunity, and as a proud Scotsman, it's a game that you want to be involved in.
We compete against the majority of these guys week in, week out, and we seem to hold our own, so it's about passing that message on to the guys maybe that are based in Scotland or elsewhere, that we can more than compete with these guys. They're an excellent team, don't get me wrong, full of top players both in the starting lineup and on the bench, so we're always going to be underdogs, but we've got a few wee superstars in our team as well, so hopefully you can play well and cause them problems.
The England game is a historical game. We know how much it means to both countries. If ever there was a game for us to bounce back in, this is a good one. We believe we've shown we're a good team. Even in defeat, you can still be a good team. I think we showed that, and we're determined to go down there on Friday and show we're a good team.
It means everything for me to be part of this setup. As a boy, this is the sort of things you dream about, so I won't take it for granted, and I'm just really looking forward to these next 2 games that are coming up and see what happens. The most important thing for me in football is making the people that are close to me proud, so hopefully I've done that so far and I can keep on making them proud.
Calvin Phillips was one of the standout performers in England's opening game against Croatia, and he's been speaking to Kelly Summers.
Calvin, firstly, the burning question I have to ask you is, I believe there is pick a mix and an ice cream van has come into St George's Park today, so which did you go for?
Went for the pick and mix.
Good choice.
Yeah.
What did you have?
I think the first sweet that I ate was a snake. You know, one of long jelly snake.
And I imagine you need all the energy you can get after your performance on Sunday. Have you managed to kind of take in just what happened?
Not really. Obviously a lot of people are saying that, you know, I played really well, and to be honest I didn't think I did anything special other than get the assist.
Phillips, past 1, then 2, then played it into Sterling!
So let me get this right, you don't even think you played that well?
Obviously I played alright, I feel like I played alright. I didn't make many mistakes, and you know, I just think there's always room for improvement, so I know that, you know, I'm going to have to play better on Friday.
What did your family make of your performance? Because I know how close you are to them.
There was buzzing. Obviously it was my mum's birthday the day before that, so you know, I just wanted to make her proud, and she sent me a few messages after the game, and you know, it was a very emotional moment for both of us.
What was the first thing she said to you on the call?
Well done, Lauren.
Made in Yorkshire, finished by Raheem Sterling.
Away from football, what do you like to do?
I think we've watched about 200 films since we've been here.
200?
Yeah, we've watched loads.
Wow.
Yeah, I think when we're not watching films, we're either, you know, playing a little bit of basketball, table tennis.
I'm glad you mentioned basketball, because I've heard you're pretty good at it.
I'm alright. Yeah.
You're so modest about everything, aren't you?
Got a little basketball court at home, and you know, when I come here I like to show off a little bit.
Patrick Sheik has scored again!
Huge game against Scotland. There's been so much talk about this because it's another home nation.
Euro 96. I know you're way too young to have any memories of that, but do you understand the importance of the fixture?
You know, I've got a few friends that play for Scotland, Liam Cooper and Barry Douglas as well. So I know what kind of people they're like. I know that they're a very proud nation. I know that it's going to be a very passionate game. And, you know, I'm just excited. I'm excited to see Liam, and I'm excited to eventually play against him.
Have you spoken to any of them since? Because they must be thinking, oh wow.
Liam texted me after the game actually. He just said, Calvin, you're a joke. I hope you don't play that well on Friday.
Think how crazy that phone will go if you put in a performance like you did on Sunday.
Yeah, obviously that's what I'm looking to do. I want to win, I want to beat Scotland, I want to do well in the tournament, and Friday's a very exciting moment for all of us.
But best of luck. I'll let you go and enjoy that pick and mix now, because otherwise the lads will have it, I'm sure.
Thank you.
He certainly deserved his pick and mix for his display the other day. The second half between Netherlands and Austria is on the way.
Off we go then.
That looks like a penalty to me.
Memphis Depay. That's
Good penalty.
Memphis Depay.
Much better from Austria though.
A massive chance.
Very relaxed looking Dutch players in the tunnel there coming out. Hardly surprising given their performance in the first half. Very dominant over a much more worried looking Austrian team.
Yeah, they'll be confident, Netherlands, that they'll put in another performance like the first half. They controlled the game at their pace, created chances. Austria, I thought, were hopeless. They've got to come out and they've got to be better in all positions, certainly that high line anyway. They've got to try and find a way getting back into this game.
What would you like to see from the Dutch in the second half, Jimmy, that perhaps was missing in the first?
Well, a lot more what they've been doing, you know, putting the wing backs forward and being positive and keep on with the pressing, you know, a lot more of the goodness of getting chances and being positive.
An opportunity to really impress here, bang a few goals in, Rio.
Yeah, I think that's what the message we've been from De Boer at half-time. Finish them chances, will create opportunities off the press. Punish this team. They're there for the taking. Don't let them off the hook.
Yeah. Okay, let's rejoin Jermaine Genus and Jonathan Pearce.
Thanks very much, Gary. Austria have more of the ball in the first half than the Netherlands. They pass the ball more often and more successfully than the Netherlands. He'll be concerned about that. It's not been a perfect Dutch performance, but they have been by far the better side. That's the man with the more grievous concerns at the moment. Franco Foda, as the boys in the studio were saying, Jermaine, because they've offered nothing. Austria have offered nothing in attack.
No, they've been poor. They'd be very disappointed with their not just their attack. You know, I think at the top end of the pitch they're quite light, but it's more to do with their application in the game, their performance, their passing. Yes, they've had more passes, but they've just been at the back, not hurting anybody, just waiting to have that ball taken off them. So they need to vastly improve, otherwise you know, they'll get taken apart, and this will be 2 or 3 to the Netherlands.
Netherlands all in orange, of course, and kicking from right to left in this second half. Can't see any changes out there from either manager. We've certainly not been alerted that there have been any changes. Here's Konrad Laimer down the right-hand side, an early chance for Austria. And as it came in, Matthias de Ligt was very well positioned. He has that ability to read the game. Old head on young shoulders. At 21, he is a remarkable young player.
Well, that was the best situation they found themselves in all game. It's Laimer with a poor ball in the end. Got to try and pick out one of his teammates getting into that position.
Stefan Leiner. Konrad Laimer is there to his left. Now Christoph Baumgartner. Haven't been helped in the build-up to this competition by an injury to the very experienced Bayer Leverkusen player Julian Baumgartlinger. Played 10 minutes against England since he picked up an injury. Kept him out from January. Cruciate knee ligament injury. Depay, a little touch off to Frankie de Jong. Featured their opening day victory against North Macedonia is the way that he got forward on the right hand side, but Van Aanholt's done a very good job on him. Wins it back again. Alba Daly Blind. His follow through might just have caught his teammate Van Aanholt there, nearly broke through. He's got a problem. I think he was caught. his back there. Technically still a Crystal Palace player, Patrick van Aanholt. Was it Daley Blind or was it? No, he got knocked by Christoph Baumgartner. Not a lot in that, Jermaine.
No, yeah, both centre forwards are quite happy to throw their weight around, aren't they? I think himself, Baumgartner and Gregorich, putting in plenty of tackles and flying around, but they just need to find a way to get on the ball and have an impact on the game with the ball at their feet.
Van Aanholt, amongst Baker's dozen Crystal Palace players whose contracts expired at the end of this season. Not a great situation for the club to be in. Frenkie de Jong, made back by Weghorst. De Jong broke down on him. Baumgartner, Lima, this is better. Sabitzer, they're moving the ball quicker, there's more urgency. Broke down those and deflected away back. Back off to Roan, I think. Gino Wijnaldum, that's very well played. Win it back and then be so well balanced to turn like that. And Frenkie de Jong, the precision of the pass. And here comes Denzel Dumfries. Back to Wijnaldum. Blocked. Hit Dragovic. Sabitzer. Certainly moved up through the gears in terms of rhythm and pace about their game, Austria.
It's been a fast and very open start to this second half. It's not something I don't think Netherlands would have wanted. They'd have wanted to play themselves in and get their confidence up like they did in the first half, but Austria have come out with a different approach.
With Depay's goal, he's been involved in so many for Holland over the last couple of years. Weghorst couldn't get there. He's been a major difference between the sides, though. Weghorst can hit him.
Yeah, he brings people into play. You know, he hasn't been a huge threat kind of going forward, but more often than not, when they run into a bit of a dead end, when they're trying to pass it around, they look up, they get it into his chest. Depay plays off him, Wijnaldum will play off him. It's an obvious, thing to hit when he's up against, David Alaba, who's hit me on the chest and play off me.
Lima. Wijnaldum has been more conservative today, Jermaine, than he was in the opening game. Wijnaldum was held in deeper positions. It's a foul this time against Weghorst.
He's been a bit deeper today, Wijnaldum, but he should have scored, shouldn't he, in the first half, so he's had his opportunity.
1-2 attempted. Back to Gregorich from Baumgartner. That's the first sign we've seen of those two combining, really. Sabitzer. Ulmer back to him. De Roon again mops up for the Netherlands. The veteran Andreas Ulmer. Interregger careless. Careless in possession. Ulmer, that's well played. Had a good tournament, the veteran. Might not go far, but he's had a good couple of games.
Here's that lovely bit of play from Gini Wijnaldum under a lot of pressure. He's got the composure to get out of it. A well-struck shot. Enjoying his evening's work by the looks of it.
He scores today. He'll overtake Johan Cruyff and join Patrick Kluivert on 13 in European Championship football for the Netherlands. He's not a bad man to overtake, Johan Cruyff. Game being played in the stadium named after the Dutch genius.
Joining a list that involves Patrick Kluivert. Lucky enough to play a few seasons with Patrick at Newcastle. Special player.
Dragovic. Better movement from the front two for Austria in this second half. It's Baumgartner. Lima was involved. Here's Liner. That's a corner kick. It's their first of the game.
Yeah, much better. just a better approach all round, collecting more second balls, putting in better challenges. You can see encouraging signs in each individual in the side that they're onto something. They're getting a little bit higher up the pitch, they're winning corners. All the things that wasn't happening in the first half.
The first corner of the game. Alaba takes it. Well, that's very easily for Stekelenburg and very disappointing for Austria. Back in the Dutch fold. He played against Georgia in the warm-up at the start of June. It was his first international since November 2016. A problem, of course, because Silerson is out, tested positive. Here's Depay. Featured amongst the favourites for the competition in the Netherlands. Once you get into knockout football in these tournaments, anything can happen. Bounce of a ball, refereeing decision. Now by Schlager. Daley Blind. Van Aanholt. Once again by Dragovic. Surprise me if the Netherlands thought about replacing Daley Blind with Nathan Ake. For a while with an injury, he tore a ligament against Gibraltar back in March in the World Cup games and only came back for this tournament. It's a poor ball by Weghorst. Martin de Roon. Now Stefan de Vrij. Dumfries. Ginny Van Aldum is there for it. Oh, that's a lovely weighted pass. Goal kick, I fancy.
Yeah, it's more good play from Van Aldum though. Hinteregger just gambles here. And he's too late, uses his body brilliantly. Van Aldum turns around. Slots in a lovely ball to his wing back, Dumfries.
Big loss for Liverpool, isn't it? He played most of all but I think 6 of their games this season.
I mean, we're yet to really hear exactly what happened there as to why he didn't stay, whether he wanted more years than they were prepared to give. But you know, the more you watch Gini Van Aldum, and this happened, you know, from early on in his Liverpool career, the more you appreciate him and how good he is. And he's going to be a huge loss in that midfield for Liverpool. They've got young players like Curtis Jones coming through, they've got high hopes for, but the experience and quality he shows, the goals that he scores, I'm not sure you can replace it.
Schlager. Neat turn here by Baumgartner. It was chasing back. Certainly dominated the second half, I think, Austria. And Arden fouled by Savitzer.
They've definitely shown more energy, Austria. I wouldn't say the quality's any better, I wouldn't say the threat is any more. I feel like Netherlands have gone into a little bit of cruise control. They need to wake up a little bit, but they're still in control of the game.
Pressing higher here, Austria. Not exactly zealously, out by Hinteregger. Here's Savitzer, and on to Schlager, who's put in a good performance for them in terms of industry in that area. Alaba does seem totally wasted in this deep lying position, especially when they're chasing a game perhaps now. De Roon, touch on by Weghorst, and it nearly came through from De Jong.
That's unbelievable, take your pick.
3 of them available. Allman. Savitzer. Mikhail Gregoric. Savitzer had a look to the edge of the box, but again there were too many orange shirts there. Is Lima. Gifted player is Savitzer. If the Premier League team does go for him, he'll cost around about 50 million. Schlager. A long way round.
You could tell he was just desperate to get a shot off there. It's a bit.
Netherlands break. Ronaldo higher now.
He's running the show in there. Captain. He's everywhere and he pops up on the left, gets himself in the box. He can drop deep and run the game.
Terrific performance by him again. Very good in the opening game. Don't forget they had that game won, didn't they? Against Ukraine, 2-0 up, and then all of a sudden it was 2-2. Ronaldo pumps one over the top.
Yeah, and you know what? That'll be something that they'll want to kind of put to bed. They don't want to be known as that team that can go ahead but then give up leads. We've seen with teams like the Italians in particular, they go 2-0 up, they go 3-0 up, and they are throwing everything at the cause to keep a clean sheet. And you'd have thought that that's the mentality that this Netherlands side would want to get into them. You don't want to be giving away leads all the time, because that type of stuff sticks with you.
Austria have 32 minutes to come back and do something they failed to do in 88 years, win in the Netherlands. They won on their first ever meeting in this country in 1933, 1-0. They're going to make a change. Sasa Karadzic, the centre forward from the Bundesliga with Stuttgart, who played in their opening game, is going to come on. He's benefited from the extra year between the scheduled date for the finals and the actual date. Don't think he would have been in the squad this time last year. Decent season with Stuttgart, 17 goals. Started the warm-up game against England. Started the last 5 actually, got 3 goals for them. Big man. He's a deft man in Frenkie de Jong.
So good at that.
Van Aanholt into Depay, dropping a little bit deeper. Off goes Van Aanholt. Pass looks for him, finds him, corner ball.
Yeah, that all starts with de Jong, the composure in midfield. It's a nightmare for midfielders, that. When you come up against somebody like him or Wijnaldum and you want to press them and they're just cool. Most centre midfielders, or a lot of centre midfielders, you press them, they'll go back, they'll pass backwards, but when you come across somebody like him, it becomes tireless pressing them all the time because they just don't panic.
Memphis Depay with the corner, approaching the hour in Amsterdam in front of 16,000. Going towards the back stick, and it, brilliant save, comes back out, just wide. Big chance for the Netherlands to wrap it up. De Ligt with a stab shot that was deflected away in the end. Good save in there by Bachmann.
Those Weghorst causing problems again. Lovely header back across goal. Depay's got the big chance in there for me. Right inside the 6-yard box. Got to find the back of the net.
Depay again, reaching that far post area. Good header away. Drops to De Roon.
It's 2 incredible deliveries. That second one was vicious. The whip he put on that ball. Memphis Depay. Here's the chance. It's good positioning though from Bachmann. Right place, right time. 2 big chances for the centre halves. Maybe they could stick it away.
Instinctive save by Bachmann. Pushed it into a dangerous area, but he got to it. Here comes Sasa Karadzic, and off goes Gregoric. Second change sees Florian Grilic coming on. Central midfield player to replace Konrad Laimer, who still doesn't look fully fit to me after his long layoff. Another plays in Germany with Augsburg.
Yeah, I have to say, I think with Laimer, he just looked a bit short, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think when he's been playing for RB Leipzig, he offers much more of a threat, and he tried at the start of this second half, but he's obviously still struggling a little bit.
Depay, Van Aanholt running again. Liner got the block in. The effort by Veghorst may have been deflected. No, goal kick.
It looked like there was a slight deflection, but starting to turn the screw a little bit now. Got to search of that second goal, the Netherlands. They look a little bit lost. I think even the manager's kind of searching for answers. He knows his team's really struggling.
Ronaldo, Van Aanholt getting higher and higher. Stamped away by Grilic, and the clearance completed by Hinteregger. Kalajdzic. Obvious target man at 6'7". Tallest man in Bundesliga football. Great atmosphere.
Yeah, they are late again to De Jong. It's like they want to press him, but they know that he's a little bit too good and he will get out of it. It's got to go all the way in.
Over the years, we've been quick to criticise the standard of refereeing at the start of a tournament, but as you were saying in the first half, Jermaine, it has been fantastic here, I think, so far.
Really refreshing to see challenges that we know shouldn't be a foul. Just referees wave and play on, keep the pace of the game. I think it's been fantastic so far.
Not happy he's going off Daily Blind, but you can understand why. Out from the end of March through to June the 6th, played very little football. 45 minutes against Georgia, 63 minutes against Ukraine since the layoff. Nikonaki will come on and replace him, the Manchester City title winner. And Veghorst goes off, and Donyell Malen, really exciting. PSV 21-year-old comes on. Highest touch scorer in the league, and Van Aanholt goes off, and Wijndal comes on. A lot of Dutch fans thought he'd start the tournament at left back. Especially if Blind was playing in one of the centre-back positions. Started 8 of his 10 internationals, so left back, like for like that one. Veghorst put in a shift for the Netherlands, Jermaine, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's he's a useful player for them with the way that they play and the way they like to knock it around, and just to have that other option, like I said before, to play into his chest and kind of miss that press. Because a lot of the time when you're a team that plays the way the Netherlands do and they knock it around the back, there's a time where as a team you go, right, let's get after them. And that's when you all go, and there's a huge gap to drop balls into, and he was brilliant at that today, when they're just dropping it into his chest. And the job of the midfielders then just to spin and pick up those second balls off him, and it worked a treat. So it's going to be interesting to see how that changes now with Depay playing through the middle.
Nikonaki, first touch is a little bit loose. Came on in the first game as well for half an hour. The player who's missed a lot of football this season through injury. Actually the last 5 months really, with a hamstring problem. Now here's a chance for the young substitute Malen. Plays it square, and it's rattled into the back of the net. And the flag stays down. Hello, hello, hello. The freight train's arrived again. On time, Denzel Dumfries, perfect time run, perfect finish, the Netherlands 2, Austria 0.
Well, the lads highlighted this ridiculous high line that Austria have been playing all game in the first half, when they've stuck with it again, and it's cost them. They commit everyone almost on that halfway line, and Memphis Depay just spots it. It's good play, he holds up. They all get sucked in. He's clearly onside here, man. And then it's just a matter of, is he going to take the chance on, or is he going to get his head up and pass it? The ever-willing Dumfries was always there and available for him if he wanted him. I think he picked the right option. And he wasn't going to miss that one, was he? Sticks it away. And that's a little bit of comfort that they've earned, that they've deserved. And it seems they're going to get now, this Netherlands side.
2 in 2 championship games. He's appealing for offside, Daniel Batman. It was checked very briefly. The check is over the goal stands.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, you can flying out your goal like that, you're going to get a yellow card, so rightly so. It wasn't even close. He was well onside.
Good awareness by Donyell Malen.
They're still playing it, look. And it was good awareness from Depay as well. Really, you know, we spoke about Weghorst coming off the pitch. Well, they went long almost into Depay there, and he was strong enough, and he had the awareness to kind of spot the run of Malen.
Frankie de Jong, so strong, but a good old battle in there between these two. And the Netherlands are virtually there in the round of 16. They will win the group as it stands. And North Macedonia will be out as a result of this. What an impact he's had on this competition. And a good qualifying.
He's got great energy, hasn't he? Great energy, good quality. I mean, you're going through on goal, you look to your right, and the right wing back's right there. It's nice to have that kind of energy.
Swings the corner, and he came to Hinteregger, did in the end. He's still to have a shot on target in the game. Pressure will rise on him. He's going to turn to Valentino Lazaro. Newcastle fans remember him. He was on loan at on Tyneside last year, or last season I should say. Shone brightly in 1 or 2 games. Replaces Baumgartner. You know, on loan to Borussia Mönchengladbach from Inter this season. He's got a wonderful overhead goal against Bayer Leverkusen. He's on a free, I think, at the end of this month. Major role in their qualifying. The Netherlands well in command. Lazaro well beaten in the air by Ake. Schlager. Minor. It's Kalajic. Lazaro. Tall figure of Kalajic. Good turn of pace, Valentino Lazaro. Can do the unpredictable well.
Yeah, you feel like they need that. Yeah, they just need something off the cuff. They need to get the Netherlands to start out this comfortable rhythm that they're in, especially defensively. They've been in cruise control all game.
Zara with that corner kick, it's loose, it's deflected. Oh goodness me, that's gone wide. Who did it go off? Corner ball, gone off a Dutchman.
Yeah. Usually in situations, just comes off your hip or your knee. You don't even see it. There you go, right off your knee, because it was moving at such pace.
Lazaro swings it away. Depay clears. Only one team has come from behind to win in the competition so far this summer. That was Belgium earlier, winning in Denmark 2-1. Behind early on to Poulsen's goal, Hazard and De Bruyne. Ukraine beat North Macedonia 2-1 in the other game in this group.
that, Depay.
Score one and a role to play in another tonight, Memphis Depay.
He's had an impact, and I think that's the biggest thing. He's had an influence on the game. You know, when you're talking about the step up in his career that he's made since Manchester United, going to Lyon, wanting to play football, and now doing it for his national team, got to give him a lot of credit for that. It would not have been easy for him to leave Manchester United in the first place, but it was the right decision for him.
Now Marlon turning, here's Dumfries. Marlon, Depay in the middle, and Ronaldo. And a very impressive De Jong.
The whole balance of this midfield's good. You know, even what the room brings to the table, he just kind of, he allows the ball players to play. He knows Wijnaldum and De Jong in there are, you know, much more in terms of ability on the ball, but he's that perfect foil really, with the work rate as well that he brings to the table, the intensity. Because they've also got Van de Beek that they can put in there.
Change here. Giroud goes off and Gravenberch will come on. They will have to wait for his opportunity in the World Cup qualifiers, and the autumn injury keeps him away from this summer. He's a wonderful player. Not seen anything like the best of him at Manchester United. 17 minutes to go. Through to the round of 16 as group winners, and they will play one of the best third place sides. We won't know the identity of the third place sides until the last round of games, obviously, but then because of the way it's worked out, very complicated system, they won't know their opponents until very late on. Far too complicated for my little brain to deal with anyway.
Glad you said that.
Yes, Adam, but look where he is now. Wasted. He's getting forward down the left-hand side, they're 2-0 down. Dragovic. The most telling thing about Austria is when they were talking about the first game they played, the players admitted afterwards they didn't know right up until virtually up until kick-off the system they were going to be playing.
Well, they got away with it in the first game. They've not looked like they've had a clue what they're doing all game today. You see a lot of patterns in the Netherlands side in the way that they play. Balls go forward. When it drops off, players are running in behind. They know when to keep the ball. They know when to slow it down. They know when to kind of go long into the front man. And that is all to do with how a team is pressing you, whether they're dropping off, whether they're giving you the space. And you have things to counteract that. Whereas Austria, they just look lost all the time.
Neil Marlon. To Marlon, it was the substitutes just come on, Gravenberch there with the run.
Now, granted that we haven't exactly got the players either, and I think we need to factor that in. But you would have still thought they offered a little bit more than what they've offered today after 75 minutes anyway.
Ball's already out of play.
I hope you guys are enjoying the game. Don't worry, tomorrow at 5 PM I might not be with you, to be fair. I'll try to be with you, but definitely at 8 PM I'm going to try and bring my TV down so I can get my whole family's reaction. This is going to be great. England versus
He's just come on, by the way, so 18 years of age just.
And if we win our game,
Very, very promising.
then we
come through the Ajax.
well, and then it's Czech Republic. So if Croatia, if Czech Republic win their game, then we are through, no matter what.
Alba's gone to the left of the three. I think this is where they he looked better in that first game
Yeah.
when he went to that side. They've got a lot to do in the last 13 minutes. Greenwich. Good work again by the Netherlands, denying them any sort of space. Rajic off to Schlager. Lazarus to his right hand side, misplaced pass. Liner. And Schlager. Grilic thought about the big hit. Disappointing in the end. Ronaldo, lovely turn, attempted, but he had 2 men on him. Ulmer with the cross in, well played by Ake. Look at the pressure from Ronaldo.
Really good. Really good.
Exceptional performance by the Dutch captain.
I think Austria have decided to go to that back four now. Just looking at Alaba, he's drifting back, but
How they could have done with Arnautovic tonight, Jermaine.
well, yeah, I mean, there's lessons to be learned there. Obviously, we know that he poses an attacking threat that they so desperately needed today. His team needs him, and he's let them down really, for whatever reason. But another chance to make that right in the last game, as he'll be back for that, won't he?
Yes, it's just a one-match ban, and if they do beat Ukraine in Bucharest, and they will finish in second place. Liner, and here's Alaba, crossed by Ulmer, and away by Javrai. The second place team in the group will meet the winners of the Italy-Wales group at Wembley in the round of 16.
I mean, there'll be some scenarios where 3 points is enough.
Yeah.
But then I'm guessing it's going to be based on the goals that you conceded. So, the goal difference really anyway is what I'm saying. So, maybe the manager needs to factor a lot of that in right now as well, because try going to win this game, you don't want to get done with another 2 goals.
Alaba. It's Hinteregger for Austria. Touched and attempted around the corner, comes to nothing from Karadzic. Oh, super. Frankie de Jong, every touch from him today has been spot on.
Yeah, just been pure class, the both of them. I mean, Darude's been good as well. Can't leave him out.
Swept away to young Owen Windell.
You watch a bit, so and you watch Lehmann at RB Leipzig, and they cause teams problems a lot of the time. And in fairness to Schlager, he's arguably been their best player today in that midfield. He hasn't stopped, but he's just not been able to get anywhere near the Dutch three.
Alaba showing just what he can do when he's given the chance to come forward. Probably the best we've seen from Austria.
Just why? Why has he not been here doing this since the start of the game? Look how close that is. Oh, yeah, Stecklenberg panicking. Oh, it's inches away from getting that right and finding the top corner.
In the warm-ups against Denmark and against England, they were beaten in both, by the way. He played on the left-hand side of midfield. There's some star names in the crowd here, by the way. Ronald Koeman's here, Luis Figo is here, Edwin van der Sar is here, Frank Bronkhorst. And de Jong comes on for the final, 8.5 minutes. Came on in the first game as well.
Yeah, he's played well to play though. Really has. Set one up, stuck one away. Probably could have got another one at least. Caused problems for this Austrian side all game. very clever, dropping in deep, staying out wide when he needs to. Difficult to mark.
5 substitutes allowed. 3 windows. Is Sabitzer. Chance now for Austria to get back in the game with 8 minutes to go. Sort of an anxious finale for the Netherlands, who so nearly threw it away against Ukraine in that first game. Grilic. Space here for Alexander Dragovic. Liner. Whipped in a dangerous cross, well met by Matthias de Ligt. Alaba with a measured ball in. Dragovic. Here's Grilic. Sabitzer wanted it, but he wide to Stefan.
Austria got one back.
And look who's there with him, trying to win it back for the Netherlands once and twice. Gini Ronaldo.
They've just lost a little something, haven't they? The Netherlands, with all these changes, which is going to happen. Lost a little bit of rhythm, but they're trying to save some legs. And Austria are obviously going to throw caution to the wind here and try and just get themselves a goal and pose the question, can you hang on to the Netherlands?
Well, Lienhart for Dragovic is like for like. You see there the scar on the face of Dragovic.
Oh, Frankie de Jong.
Nathan Ake.
De
Jong just took that step forward to open up a little bit of a gap.
Oh, Nathan Ake.
De Jong.
Because they're the
Still
4
full of running.
players I picked for my thing. So if they get a goal, I'll be so happy because then that'll boost my points up.
5 minutes to go. Depay from the spot and Dumfries with the goals. Here's Ake. Arnold was up there, the furthest forward. Kalajic.
And I've got no Austrian
This one's
players.
making that run left to right.
So. Oh, and if I get a clean sheet, I think
Stefan
I can
Liner.
like get some points.
Cross all the way through. From fullback to fullback. Ulmer, corner ball.
Well, this is where they've looked most dangerous all game, really. Just a couple of corners that have come into the box. They've posed a few problems.
Netherlands with everyone back. Looking for Liner. Deep on the far side.
I need a load of points if I want to get
Netherlands 4 minutes away
some money.
from the round of 16. Grilic. Look at the orange shirts back there. Liner. Alaba. Beginning to try and create. Lazaro. One back once again for the Netherlands by Ronaldo.
Yeah, he just spotted the danger. He knew what Alaba was trying to do, get on that lethal left
Netherlands
foot.
now on the attack for the last 3 minutos. 3 minutos. I have Spanish tomorrow. Yay. But definitely not yay. Spanish is for... Oh my god. Oh no, I couldn't have done it anyway because I got Spanish in... Yeah. What about the Monday though? Sunday and Monday and... Friday. None of
I say that because I feel like they've got a lot more to
It's
offer.
Monday. It's the one Monday. Coming up for Group C after this match, Ukraine versus Austria and North Macedonia versus Holland, the last day of the group stage in Group C. 5 PM, both of the games, ITV.
Certainly need to be greatly improved,
tomorrow we will have 3 games. 2 I'll try and stream, 1 I definitely can't stream because I'm at school. And that game I can't stream sadly has to be the Sweden vs Slovakia game. And then the game Croatia Czech Republic will be up. And then England, 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 England. We'll be playing Scotland. What a game. Derby.
With the cross into the middle. The big target man off the bench, heads wide. Not a great chance for Sasa Kalajic. They've created far too little. They've had 88 minutes and they've yet to create an effort on target.
Yeah, they've been poor at both ends, and that was one that cost them in the second half. Dumfries spotting the opportunity to make runs in behind. Just up to Daniel Malen whether he wanted to square it to him or not. And he did, gave his boy a tap in.
Robert de Ligt picked up that groin strain in training and it's the last
30 seconds until we get added time.
Such a crap day, I think, for De Ligt. I think he's had enough of saying that. I can't.
gone down again. A bit of sportsmanship, which is nice to see. Good season at Juventus, De Ligt. Good young player. Let's have a look at this again.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Takes a bit of a whack. Oh, he gets stood on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think is it De Vrij though? Is it his own player that steps on him? It's obviously cramped up from that.
4 minutes of stoppage time to play.
4 minutes.
She will be relieved somewhat on the Dutch coach. He has been criticised. Trying to replace Ronald Koeman, who got them to these finals, of course. Won half of his games in charge so far, Frank de Boer. His penalties in the semi-final against Italy when he was playing in the Orange side back in 2000. 2 World Cups.
Enjoy the last 4 minutes, whilst I enjoy laying in my bed until the last 4 minutes are over.
And Hinteregger.
Watching my phone.
Do you think wants to come back on? Greenwich. Waits for the pass.
And in the
Back with his partner there saying thanks for that, stamping on my car.
It's a relaxed Dutch bench, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Rightly so though, they've earned it today. They're happy, they're going through. It's job done. Can rest a few players if they want in the next game.
Oh, he just slipped at the wrong time, Ronaldo. Have a little dummy and sent him beyond Hinteregger. Ulmer. He can hold his head up, Jermaine. Andreas Ulmer on that left-hand side.
He hasn't stopped, I think, himself. Schlager. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 more. Not many really have shown anything, but it's a big problem when you're in a side and you look up and you've got almost 0 options, or you're trying to put in the most perfect balls to put it on a plate for someone because your forward line can't offer enough problems to cause this defence any issues. So you're trying to do a lot on your own, and he's been doing that for large portions of his international career. But I do feel the manager didn't give them the best chance today with the way they lined up. They didn't seem comfortable, and I think within the performance that's shown that. No shots on target for a huge portion of the game.
Marlon to De Jong. Kalajic. Ulmer. Intercepted by Wijndal. It's 2 available on the left-hand side. The run here by Wijnaldum. De Jong's to the right. Wijnaldum holds on to it. Hinteregger did a good job in the end, but look at the tenacity of the Dutch captain in the last minute of 94 today.
In fairness, Hinteregger did really well. And I thought when he turned, he was just going to unleash the shot. But he stuck at his task.
Sabitzer. Ulmer. It's a run of some power, but in the end he got absolutely nowhere. Daniel Marlin. De Vrij is up there looking support. And De Vrij ambles back after a little look from the 29-year-old centre-back to the young forward, as if to say, don't do that again.
Get his face. He thought, I've got a chance here, I might nick one, and then centre forward goes and smashes it in the stands.
You would have played with a few grizzled centre halves in your time, Jermaine. Would let you know afterwards.
You just used to ignore them. They used to chase you down the dressing room full time. No, you just say, sorry, I didn't see you. And why would I pass you anyway?
He's back doing his defensive work. De Vrij to get it away. Cross was by Leon Hart. And the Netherlands are through to the round of 16 as group winners, having taken the early lead from the penalty spot through Memphis Depay, and then Denzel Dumfries got his second of the competition to sum it up. Really good night for them. Austria have work to do. Jermaine Genius.
Yeah, really good, nice work by this Dutch side, showing real quality. Like I said, I think in that second half, they're in third gear at best, they really were, but he'll be delighted with some top performance from his side. Ronaldo was absolutely brilliant in that midfield alongside De Jong and De Roon. They missed him massively, didn't they, the Austrian side?
They certainly did. Indiscretion, indiscipline from Arnautovic has cost Austria tonight, and putting Alaba in the wrong position has also dearly cost them. They can still stay in, but with work to do. They've been...
Holland 2. Austria 0. So what does that do to the table? Because, well, North Macedonia have 0 points because they've literally lost both their games, so they're going to be bottom. But Ukraine, we're looking at the goal difference here. Ukraine, so they lost 3-2 to Holland, so that's -1, but they gained 1, so that's 0. Austria +2, -2, take away 2, that's 0. If we look at the goals scored, Austria have 3, Ukraine have 4, so Ukraine are in second. Austria in third, and Holland in first. And Holland have already qualified. No matter what happens, Holland have qualified. Whoever won there would have qualified, because Ukraine versus Austria is the next game. So if one team win, one team might be going home, but third place. So Holland in first. Let's quickly see how many games. 2, 2, 2, 2. How many wins? Holland has won 2, Ukraine won 1, Austria won 1, North Macedonia didn't win at all. Draws: Holland 0, Ukraine 0, Austria 0, North Macedonia 0. Losses: Holland 0, Ukraine 1, Austria 1, North Macedonia 2. Goals scored: Holland have won 2-0 and also have won 3-2. So that is 5 goals scored. Ukraine have won 2-1, so that's 2. And another 2, they have scored 4 goals. Austria have scored 3, and that is all, so they have 3 goals. North Macedonia, however, have scored 2. 5 or 3, 2. Goals conceded. Well, Holland have conceded 2. Ukraine, so they conceded 3 and then conceded 1. So they've conceded 4. Austria, so they conceded 1 against North Macedonia and 2 against Holland, so they conceded 3. And North Macedonia, well, they lost to Ukraine 2-1, so that's already 2. And then lost to Austria, so that's 5. And now goal difference. Holland, well, they scored 5, conceded 2, that is a +3 goal difference. Ukraine, they've got a 0 goal difference. Austria, they've got a 0 goal difference. And North Macedonia have a -3 goal difference. Points, Holland with 6, Ukraine 3, Austria 3, North Macedonia 0. So that is it for Group C in match day 2. The table finishes in 4th place, North Macedonia. In 3rd place, Austria. 2nd place, Ukraine. 1st place, already qualified, Holland. So there's 3 teams that are through into the round of 16 already, and those teams are Italy in Group A, Belgium in Group B, and Holland in Group C. We're still waiting for another 13 though. Put your 13 teams that you think are going to qualify in the comments, because this stream is about to end, so I won't be able to see it live. But yes, I'm just getting the blue tack to stick on my wall, because I have this whole thing set up for me to stick on my wall. Because yeah, why not? So match day 1, which was for Group C on Sunday, the 13th of June. The table finished 4th North Macedonia, 3rd Ukraine, 2nd Holland, 1st Austria. But now it finishes after match day 2, once again, 4th North Macedonia. 3rd place has been switched from 1st to 3rd, Austria. From 3rd to 2nd, Ukraine. And from 2nd to 1st, Holland. So the tables so far in match day 2 are as followed. For the games, and then I'll say the tables. Turkey lost 2-0 to Wales. Italy beat Switzerland 3-0. Italy have qualified. In the table, Turkey in 4th with 0 points. Switzerland in 3rd with 1 point. Wales with 4 in the second with 4 points. And Italy qualified already, 6 points. And if Wales beat Italy on Sunday, June the 20th, Wales will qualify. Italy have nothing to play for. Actually, they kind of do, because they haven't won the group yet. Nor has Belgium. And also, nor has Holland. But in Group B, match day 2, Finland lost to Russia 1-0, and Belgium, who are already now qualified, beat Denmark 2-1. In 4th place, Denmark with 0 points. 3rd, Finland with 3. 2nd, Russia with 3. Russia aren't meant to be 2nd. Finland's meant to be 2nd. Yep, what have I messed up? How many goals has Russia conceded? 3. And they scored 1. So that's -2. How many goals have Finland conceded? 1. And they scored 1. Finland are second. Finland are second. Russia are third, sorry. Belgium first, already qualified. And in Group C, today's matches, Ukraine beat North Macedonia 2-1. And Holland, who are now qualified for the round of 16, beat Austria 2-0. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Croatia vs Czech Republic and England vs Scotland game. And when I get back from school, I'll see the score for Sweden vs Slovakia. See you all later. Bye.